My first question is going to be before I introduce these guys. What on earth? What, you don't want to sleep anymore? You don't want to ever have regular hours?
What?
You don't want to have any more friends? In studio, our city council people elect, LeVette Fuller and John Nickelson and Grayson Boucher. A, welcome to KEEL. B, we'll start with Miss LeVette. What on earth were you thinking? You are not a political novice. You were on, I think, the MPC for a while.
Yes.
But this council person is literally the most, I would think, what have you done for me lately job. Young lady, what were you thinking?
I care about public service, and it seemed like the right thing to do. You know, they say women have to be asked to run for office 7 times before they even consider it. And I think I was asked at least that many times, and I finally started considering it.
Yeah. So that says something about your popularity. And in your district, what would you say is the #1 priority? What is the thing that people want you to try to fix first?
Blight and property standards. It's the thing that I hear the most about. We're a core community, and it's so easy to move outside of the community, and it leaves us with a lot of vacant property, a lot of open lots, and it gets complicated because of some of the state laws about property standards.
Mr. John Nickelson, basically the same. This is your first elected office, yes?
This is my first elected office, yes.
You're a married man. You have a family.
What on earth were you thinking?
Yeah.
You know, like LeVette, I care about Shreveport. I was born and raised here, and I just thought that the city needed new leadership and that I could be a part of that.
Grayson?
Well, public service is not something that's new to me. I've been doing it pretty much my whole adult life, but I got in this race a little bit late, and I looked at the people that were running, and I thought, I think I can really do a better job. So after a lot of consideration and talking to my wife, of course, which I've been married to for 25 years, we decided that, you know, instead of griping about Shreveport and what's wrong with Shreveport, I needed to get in there and be more proactive, much like what John said. I mean, I love Shreveport. It's my home. I've raised my children here, and I want my daughter who's in college to come back here and make her home.
John, back to you. In your district, what are folks talking about the most? What's #1 priority?
Look, the concern I heard expressed on the campaign trail again and again was public safety, Robert. People are really concerned about the crime rate and about the violent crimes that have been an unfortunate part of living in Shreveport in recent years.
John, Grayson, rather?
Same thing. People in District D are concerned about crime, and it's violent crime. Also, property standards. That's a big deal. I'm in real estate, and it is so difficult to get these adjudicated blighted properties back into the tax rolls. And I hope that we can work with our state representatives to be able to make that process a little bit easier, to get some of this blight under control. When you're riding through the Highland area, for example, and the Cedar Grove area, you see a lot of burned up houses, a lot of vacant properties, and we need to really start working to try to get that taken care of.
We have a new mayor-elect, Adrian Perkins. You guys obviously know that. 64%, many would call that a mandate for change. When you hear that word change from what we currently have and have had, what are you looking for from him? And LeVette, we'll start with you.
Strong leadership. I'm looking for someone that can actually have a palpable understanding of what's happening in the community, that's very aware and acknowledges that we have problems. I want to hear that you actually are ready to work on the problems, and that you have some real step-by-step processes, procedures that you're going to implement to make things better. But the first thing, we talk about crime, and crime is a big issue in my district as well, and we do acknowledge that there's been a lot of violent crime. When we talk about that, we can't talk just about stats. We have to actually look at not just the pragmatic, but the emotional outcome. This is a very small city, and when one family is impacted by something, it's not just their family. You may be 2 or 3 degrees of separation from the person that was the assailant. So we've got to think about how our community is going to heal from all the issues we've had, and we need a leader that can actually speak off the cuff about that and not just from prepared statements.
John?
Erin, I'm looking to Mayor-elect Perkins to commit to selecting the very best people available to serve as department heads. You know, I don't want a good enough police chief or a good enough CO. I want us to search high and low, both locally, regionally, and nationally, for the very best leaders that we can have for Shreveport. And I'm confident that he's going to do that.
And Grayson?
I think that ideas are important. I think that's what starts this dialogue and starts making change is ideas. and I want to see him have ideas. And also, I think that some of the problem with the former mayor, in my opinion, was, or the mayor now, Mayor Tyler, is that not every idea you're going to have is going to work as a leader. And it's taking that information and building upon it. And I hope that Mayor-elect Perkins, with his military experience, can do that, knowing that not every idea you're going to have is going to work or that it's going to be popular, but continue to go with it. And I think that we've got a lot of hope. Also, with John, I think we need to be looking for the best department heads that we have. Some of them are in City Hall right now. But I think we need to be looking for the best department heads, police, and try to move forward. But I think the biggest thing for me is have those ideas, put that dialogue out there, and they may not all work, but at least we're opening up a dialogue to make things better.
You know, you had mentioned a second or two ago that you have a college-age daughter, despite that there's not, bluntly speaking, a whole deal of gray hair in the room. You're all pretty young.
Who's the youngest?
Not me.
Who's the oldest? Who's the oldest?
The point I was going to make was, and it was a point made by a lot of political analysts and pundits right here in Shreveport, that this mayoral election, and maybe this election en masse, was much more of a generational shift than it was either party-based or racial, for that matter. Do you agree with that? Is this a new generation grabbing hold of Shreveport and saying, listen, we might be able to do a better job than you old guys?
It might be some of that, but I've also had people from an older generation say it's time for you all to step up, and we should have done a better job of preparing you in the first place. I think a lot of people, my mentors, are ready to see us lead. My mentors are ready to see what we can do for the city. They've taught us, they've raised us up to some degree, and they know that we have new and different ideas, and there has been a shift generationally. We're ready. We're ready to step up.
John, you're kind of a kid.
Although I will be 40 this fall. I've got 4 children.
Halfway to 80.
Got a high schooler, so you know, not over the hill, but not a kid either. So look, I agree with you and others who have said the same, that this is a generational change. If you look at Mayor-elect Perkins' numbers in my district, in precincts including South Highlands, he garnered tremendous support from white Republicans. And so I think this change had less to do with race and party than it did with really a near universal desire for change, and that's what those numbers reflect.
Old fogey Grayson Boucher.
Yeah, I'm 47. I am probably the only one that's a grandfather, though.
Get 911 on the line, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, now, you know, District D is very diverse. We have a lot of retirement villages. We have a lot of young families, you know, in our district as well. So, but I do agree with that to a certain extent. What LeVette said, I think that that people are looking for change, and I just don't think that we've been getting it done over the last 10 years. So a lot of people that are mentors to me as well have encouraged me to run and to help the city grow.